Hello, my dear students. A very warm welcome to all of you in Shri Jayendra Rank Zone. I am your friend and mentor for the subject Business Economics. In this lecture, we'll continue with Chapter 2, that is Theory of Demand and Supply, and we'll continue with multiple choice questions in this chapter now. So let us continue. This is lecture number 8. Let's begin. First MCQ. Demand for a commodity refers to A. Desire backed by ability to pay for the commodity. B. Need for the commodity and willingness to pay for it. C. The quantity demanded for the commodity at a certain price. Or D. The quantity of the commodity demanded at a certain price during any particular period of time. Okay, so as you can see it over here, that the quantity of a commodity demanded at a certain price during a particular period of time is basically known as demand. Understood? See, question number 2. Contraction of demand is the result of decrease in number of consumers, increase in the price of goods concerned, C. Increase in the prices of other goods, or D. Decrease in the income of purchasers. Over here, if you could understand that the correct answer would be B. The reason is why? Because increase in the price, generally you understand that in contraction of demand, if the price increases, this is the original demand curve. If the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. And this would be the demand curve. DD demand curve, X origin Y. Let's continue. Third, all but one of the following are assumed to remain the same while drawing an individual demand curve for a commodity. Which one is this? The preference of an individual, his monetary income, the price of the commodity, and price of related goods. Students, over here you can understand the price of the commodity remains the same. Just read the question once again. All but one of the following are assumptions to remain same while drawing individual's demand curve. So if you know the assumptions of individual demand curve, the price of the product remains constant over there. Let's see the next one. Which of the following pairs of goods is an example of substitutes? Tea and sugar, it's not substitutes. Tea and coffee, pen and ink, and shirt and trouser. So if I talk about substitutes which can be used in place of each other, the answer is tea and coffee. Substitutes which could be used in place of each other. Okay, let us move ahead. Fifth one. In the case of straight line demand curve meeting two axes, the price elasticity of demand at the midpoint of the line would be 0, 1, 1.5 or 2? Again read the question. In the case of straight line demand curve meeting the two axes, the elasticity, the price elasticity of demand at the midpoint of the line would be what? As you can see, this is a straight line demand curve meeting two axes. We are talking about a point somewhere here. It would be equal to 1. I believe you know it. We have learned the geometrical method. It is more than 1 over here, infinity, less than 1, 0, and over here it is 1. Point elasticity. Point elasticity. Let's see question number 6. The law of demand, assuming other things to remain constant, establishes the relationship between A. Income of the consumer and quantity of a good demanded by him. Income in relation to quantity. Second, price of a good and quantity demanded. Price in relation to quantity. We are talking about law of demand over here. Price of a good and demand of the substitute. And D, quantity demanded of a good and the relative price of the complementary goods. Quantity demanded of a good and the relative price of complementary good. Students, as per the law of demand, the answer is B, that is price of a good and quantity demanded. P of X and Q of X. Price of good X in relation to quantity demanded of good X. This relationship is known as law of demand. The goods in question do not change. The goods in question do not change. Let us move ahead. Identify the factor which generally keeps the price elasticity of demand for a good low. Price elasticity of demand for a good low. Variety of uses of the good, low price of a commodity, close substitutes, and high proportion of consumers' income spent on it. Over here, the answer would be B. How come? Because if the price of the product is low, very low price of the commodity, in that case, the price elasticity of demand would also be low. Because the price is very low, so demand, the elasticity of demand would be very low. The next one, identify the coefficient of price elasticity of demand when the percentage increase in the quantity of a good demanded is smaller than the percentage change in its price. The percentage change in quantity demanded is smaller than percentage change in price. Equal to 1, not possible. Greater than 1, it can't be greater than 1. How come? Because the change in the quantity demanded in relation to price is low. So smaller than 1, yes, smaller than 1, and 0 is not possible at all. So the answer is C, smaller than 1. Why? Because percentage change in quantity of a commodity is smaller than percentage change in price. So we need to see the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Let's see the ninth one. In the case of an inferior good, the income elasticity is A, positive, B, 0, C, negative, and D, infinite. Dear students, all of you know that income elasticity is positive in case of normal good and negative in case of inferior good. Over here, the goods in question is inferior good. The answer would be negative. I'll quote an example and will make you understand this. That supposingly if price of the product is rising, the price of the product is falling, say for example for inferior good, in that case, okay, so let us take an example like this. The price of the product is increasing for inferior good. In that case, what will happen? That ideally the demand of the inferior good should decrease, but because you should understand it is an inferior good, the demand of the product will increase. Why? Because what will happen actually, the price of the product is increasing, the demand of the product is also increasing. The reason is why? Because you should understand that it is an inferior good and the there would be few consumers who would shift to, who were earlier not consuming inferior goods or given goods, but they lack purchasing power now, so they will add up over here and they will shift to inferior products, that is given goods, instead of normal goods, because they don't have that much income. Let us see the next one. If a demand for a good is inelastic demand, no change in demand or less change, an increase in the price will cause the total expenditure of a consumer of a good to A remains the same, B increase, C decrease, and D none of these. If the demand of a good is inelastic, an increase in the price is increasing, the total expenditure will increase, obviously. The total expenditure will increase. Students, over here you should understand the demand is inelastic. That means there is no change in demand. So demand will remains the same. Supposingly if price is 10 and quantity demanded is 10. So 10 into 10, the total expenditure will be 100. The price is increasing. That means 20. The quantity demanded is same, inelastic, 10. So 20 multiplied by 10, 200. So as you can see, this is increasing from 100 to 200. Increasing from 100 to 200, and that is why over here it is increase. Let's see the next question. If regardless of change in the price, if regardless of change in the price, the quantity demanded of the good remains unchanged. That means there is an increase or decrease in the price, but the quantity demanded of the good remains unchanged. It is same. Then the demand curve of a good will be A horizontal, B vertical, C positively sloped, or D negatively sloped. As you can see it over here, it can't be horizontal, but it could be vertical. If regardless the change in the price, the quantity demanded of a goods remains constant. Just see it over here. This is the diagram. This is the price and this is the quantity demanded. Regardless the change in the price, 10, 11, 12, there is a positive change in the price, but there is no change in the quantity demanded. So the answer is B. Let's see the 12th one. Suppose the price of Pepsi increases, we will expect the demand curve of Coca-Cola too. You should understand, my dear students, Pepsi and Coke, that is Coca-Cola, is substitute goods. These are substitute goods. Suppose the price of Pepsi increases. Price of Pepsi increases. What will happen to the demand of Coke? The price of Pepsi increases, so the demand of Pepsi decreases. So the demand of Coke will increase and people will Shift from Pepsi to Coke. Shift towards left since these are substitutes. Shift towards right since these are substitute. Right, that means increase in demand. Remains the same at the same level, or D, none of the above. The answer is B. B for Bombay. Shift towards right since these are substitutes. Let's see the 13th one. All of the following determinants of demand except, all are the following determinants of demand except A, taste and preferences, B, quantity supplied, C, income of the consumer, D, price of the goods. As you know, taste and preferences is the determinants of demand. Income of the consumer is also a determinant of demand. Price of the product is also the determinant of demand. But quantity supplied is not a determinant of. A movement along the demand curve for soft drink is best described as, movement along the demand curve for soft drink is best described as A, increase in the demand, B, decrease in the demand, C, a change in the quantity demanded, or D, a change in the demand. The answer is C, that is a change in the quantity demanded. It could be an upward change or a downward change, but it should be a change in the quantity demanded. So increase in demand and decrease in demand is not movement along the demand curve. These are shift in the demand curve. Shift in the demand curve, because the whole demand curve shift either to the right or to the left. Next, if the price of Pepsi decreases relative to the price of Coke and 7 Up, the demand for A, Coke will decrease, B, 7 Up will decrease, C, Coke and 7 Up will increase, and D, Coke and 7 Up will decrease. Over here the answer could be D, that is Coke and 7 Up will decrease. Try and understand one more time. If the price of Pepsi decreases, the price of Pepsi, the price of X is falling, the demand for Coke and 7 Up will decrease. Why? Because they are substitutes. They are substitute goods. Understood? 16th. If a good is a luxury, the income elasticity is, students, it is luxurious goods and it is not a normal good. You should understand it over here. This is a luxurious good. So, if a good is luxury, the income elasticity of demand is A, positive and less than 1, B, negative but greater than 1, greater than minus 1, C, positive and greater than 1, and D, that is, income elasticity of demand will be 0. So over here the answer is C, positive and greater than 1. Why? Why greater than 1 and positive? Because income elasticity, income is directly proportional to demand. Income is directly proportional to demand. Proportional to demand. That means what? If income of the consumer increases, they demand more. And that is why it is positive and greater than 1. Let us continue. Let us continue. If the price of a hot dog increases by 22% and the quantity of the hot dog is demanded falls by 25%. So price rises by 22% and quantity fall more as compared to price. quantity fall more than 3% as compared to price, this indicates that demand for the hot dog is A, elastic, B, inelastic. Inelastic means there is less change. So over here the more change, unitary elastic is equal change, and perfectly inelastic is no change. Perfectly elastic is infinity. So over here it would be elastic. Why? Because the percentage change in price is 22% and percentage change in quantity is 25%. That is more than the percentage change in price. Let's see the next one. If the quantity demanded of mutton increases by 5%, quantity demanded of mutton increases by 5%, when the price of chicken increases by 20%, the cross price elasticity of demand between mutton and chicken is A, 0.25, B, 0.25. First is negative, A, negative 0.25, B, positive 0.25, C, negative -4, and D, positive 4. We need to calculate this. So over here, the quantity demanded of a mutton increases by 5%. That is change in quantity demanded 5% divided by percentage change in price, that is 25%. So 5 upon 25 will give you, okay, this is 20. So 5 upon 20 will give us the answer 0.25. That is 1 by 4. So 0.25. I think it is clear. So the answer is B, 0.25. And this is positive. Let's see the 19th one. Given the following four possibilities, which one result in the increase in total consumer expenditure? We have learned the consumer expenditure method over here. So A, demand is unitary elastic and price falls. Demand is elastic and price rises. C, demand is inelastic and price falls. And D, demand is inelastic and price rises. So the answer is D, demand is inelastic and price rises. If you want, you can see the question one more time. Given the following four possibilities, which one result in increase in the total expenditure? The total expenditure should increase. So demand is inelastic and price rises. Demand is same and there is an increase in price. So the total expenditure will be more. I hope it is clear to all. Let us shift to the next question. Let us shift to the next question that talks about which of the following statements about price elasticity of supply is correct. So generally, price elasticity of supply, if price is increasing, supply or quantity supplied is also increasing, because that will give the producer more benefit, more profit. A, price elasticity of supply is a measure of how much the quantity supplied of a good responds to a change in its price of that goods. B, price elasticity of supply is computed as a percentage change in quantity supplied divided by percentage change in price. Yes. C, price elasticity of supply in the long run would be different from in the short run. Absolutely right. So the answer is D, all of the above. So the answer is D, all of the above. Let's see question number 21. Which of the following is an incorrect statement? Which of the following is an incorrect, which is a wrong statement? A, when goods are substitutes, a fall in the price of one, ceteris paribus, let the buyer be aware, leads to fall in the quantity demanded of its substitutes. B, when commodity are complements, a fall in the price of one, other things being equal, that is ceteris paribus, will cause the demand of the other to rise? C. As the income of the consumer increases, the demand for quantity increases always and vice versa. Or D. When the commodity becomes fashionable, people prefer to buy it and therefore its demand increases. So all the three statements is correct, but statement C is false. It says, as the income of the consumer increases, the demand for the commodity increases always. This is not correct. In case of given goods, the income of the consumer increases. Income of the consumer increases, he will not buy inferior goods. So given goods or inferior goods. Let's shift to question 22. Suppose the price of movies seen at a theater rises from 120 per person to 200 per person. So P1 is 120, P2 is 200. The theater manager observes that the rise in the price causes attendance at a given movie to fall from 300% to 200%. So this is quantity 1, this is quantity 2. What would be the price elasticity of demand for the movies? We need to calculate price elasticity of demand and we need to use arc elasticity method. As you can see in this question, quantity demanded 2 minus quantity demanded 1 divided by price of 2 minus price of 1 equal to quantity demanded 2, that is 300, 200 minus 300 divided by 200 minus 120, this would be 100 by 80 equals to 1.25. So the answer is C. I think you are clear. Let's move ahead. 24th. When the numerical value of cross elasticity between two goods is very high, this means the goods are perfect complements and therefore have to be used together. The goods are perfect substitutes and can be used with ease in place of one another. There is a high degree of substitutability between the two goods. The goods are neutral and therefore cannot be considered as substitutes. So the answer is C. There is a high degree of substitutability between the two goods. Obviously, when the numerical value of the cross elasticity of demand between the two goods is very high, cross elasticity, this means that there is a high degree of substitutability between the two goods. Let's see 25th. If the local pizzeria raises the price of medium pizza from 60 to 100, this is P1, this is P2, the quantity demanded falls from 700 pizzas a night to 100 pizzas a night. This is quantity demanded 1, quantity demanded 2. What we need to calculate? Price elasticity of demand, use arc elasticity method. So quantity demanded 2 minus quantity demanded 1 divided by price of 2 minus price of 1. So quantity demanded 2 is 100 minus 700 equal to, this is 600, and over here it would be 100 minus 60 equals to 40. So 600 divided by 40. Students, over here the data is faulty because as per the formula it is coming 15, but the option is not there, so it is faulty. Let's leave it and move ahead. 26. Demand if electricity demand is inelastic, okay, less than 1, and electricity charges increases, which of the following is likely to occur? A. Quantity demanded will fall by a relatively large amount. B. Quantity demanded will fall by a relatively small amount. C. Quantity demanded will rise in the short run but fall in the long run. Or D. Quantity demanded will fall in the short run but rise in the long run. So as you can see it over here, it could be B, quantity demanded will fall by relatively smaller amount. Why? Because it is inelastic, less than 1, so smaller amount. I think the logic is clear. 27th, suppose the demand for meals at a medium priced restaurant is elastic, okay, more than one. If the management of the restaurant is considering raising prices, they want to raise the prices, they want to increase the prices, it can expect a relatively, what they can accept, large fall in the quantity demanded, large fall in the demand, small fall in the quantity demanded, small fall in the demand. Students, it is elastic more than one. That means if the price of X will increase like this, the quantity of X will fall largely. So the answer is A, large fall in the quantity demanded. I believe you got the logic well. You understood the logic. Let's go to question number 28. Point elasticity is useful for which of the following situations? A. The bookstore is considering doubling the price of the notebook. A restaurant is considering lowering the price of its most expensive dishes by 50%. An auto producer is interested in determining the response of consumer to the price of cars being lowered by 100 rupee, and none of the above. Over here, if you could see, the answer is C. Why? Because over here, just see the relationship between demand and the price is given. So interested in determining the response of consumer to the price of car being lowered by 100. So response of consumer will be the price of car being lowered by 100. So price is decreasing, so demand will increase. Let's see 29th. A decrease in the price will result in increase in total revenue if the percentage change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in price. B. The percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price. C. Demand is inelastic. And D. The consumer is operating along a linear demand curve at a point at which the price is very low and the quantity demanded is very high. Go to the question once more. A decrease in the price will result in increase in the total revenue if the answer is B. The percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than percentage change in price. So because the percentage change in quantity demanded is greater, the total revenue will increase automatically. Total revenue will increase. Let's see the 30th one. An increase in the price will result in the increase in the total revenue if the percentage change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in price. B. The percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price. C. Demand is elastic. Or D. The consumer is operating along a linear demand curve at a point at which the price is very high and quantity demanded is very low. Go to the question once more. An increase in the price will result in increase in total revenue. Increase in total revenue if the percentage change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in price. Students, you can see it over here. Answer would be A. How come? Why? Because supposingly the percentage change in price is very much, but percentage change in quantity demanded is less. That means what? The price has increased a lot, but quantity demanded has just fall or very less fall is there. And at last, the total revenue will increase. Why? Because there is a more increase in the there is a relative more increase in the price of the product, but the quantity demanded had not responded it so well, and that is why the total revenue is increasing. I hope you understood this. Okay, so students will keep this lecture till here only. We'll continue in the next lecture and do rest of the sums. Thank you.